Welcome to episode 1 of Selling My Parents' House. So, in this episode, I am going to give you the breakdown as to why I am selling. In all of my viral videos about this topic, I have been getting so much backlash, which is surprising, um, as to why I am selling my parents' house, why I would not hold on to it. So, let me give you a little bit of a background because that was not always the plan to sell, but life will life, and here we are. So, background. I have lived in this house since I was 8 years old. I always say that this house really, my parents investing in real estate in general, um, allowed me to be able to invest in real estate. This house was the starter for myself. And really, the house before this, which was a house that my father bought with my grandparents, that house allowed my parents to be able to buy this house. I have since been able to go to college, come back, live here, move to other states, come back, and invest in real estate all along the way because I had this house as a foundation. I was taught early on and showed early on that real estate helps produce wealth. And now, it was not always the plan. My dad wanted to sell this house years ago, when my mom was even alive. So, give you a little bit more of a background. My mom passed away about 16 years ago. And when she passed away, that is when I moved home to be with my dad. At that point, my dad wanted to sell the house again. He was going to move to where I was in DC. But I just wanted to come back home and, get all those feels of being in my mom's space. And if you know, you know. Anyway, so he was fine with that, but soon after I moved back home, I realized that my dad was experiencing and showing signs of Alzheimer's. So that changed everything, changed a lot of my decisions as to where I was going to go next. I wasn't planning on living here when I moved back home. I just wanted to be, in the vicinity of my father. Um, and this was always my home base, but once the Alzheimer's started, me being here became a permanent thing. So I've lived here since then. And then my dad passed away at the end of 2021. And I, at that time, was married. I had already had my daughter, who is now 5. And I had planned on, you know, doing something with his home with my then family. However, life, I divorced, and then it just was me and my daughter in this home. And it really just became too much house for just the two of us. And I realized I didn't need all of this. And it became time to sell. Now, it took me a long time to get to that. Like I said, my dad passed away in 2021. My divorce was final of last year, October of 2025. But I started really diving into the process of selling sometime around Aprilish of 2025. And that is only because I was getting some work done to the house, and my contractor had told me how someone in the community that we live had helped him sell his house. Now, to give you more of a background, I live in a primarily Hasidic community. It was not always like this, but as the years have gone on, like I said, I've lived here since I was 8. My parents have owned this house since I was 8. I'm 47. The community has changed. The school district has always been prime in this neighborhood, and it still is. But with that comes very high taxes. And when I say high taxes, I mean we're not even in the teens. Okay, that's how high they are. Um, and so that's another reason why it's time for me to sell. So the taxes have gone up, and the neighborhood changing is not a bad thing, but it does make the community different for myself. So, for instance, there we have a Walmart in our community, but there are no longer any grocery stores that are not kosher based in this community, and that is because of the population. So there was a very big influx of uh, this population, over the last few years, and at that point, that's when homes were really flying off the roof. So, hence why last year I had decided to sell through this community member. I never officially had put it on the market, but I had gone through him. So, as time went on, I had gotten a few offers very quickly, one being from my neighbors, and they ended up backing out. By the time they had backed out, my daughter was about to start kindergarten. And so I just decided to stop showing it at that point because I didn't want to move in the middle of, her school year. Anyway, fast forward to 2026, I gave the community member another chance to sell it on his own. The market definitely has shifted. Even when my neighbors had backed out last year, I had gotten one other offer, but it was $100,000 less. And so that was another reason why I took it off the market. Anyway, fast forward again, the community member had tried to sell it. Nothing was really happening. He was bringing in some people, but I had not gotten any offers. And so I had explained to him the beginning of the summer that I was going to put it on the market by June with a realtor if he wasn't able to sell it. So here we are, fast forward, and that's pretty much what I have done. Now, going back to why I am selling, I already mentioned the taxes. The taxes are a very big reason why I'm selling. But also the maintenance on this house. It's an older home, and I have gotten a new air conditioner, appliances, a new roof, but yet it still needs a whole bunch of other stuff. And let's not even talk about, cosmetic things, but, I need a new boiler, new windows. The siding of the front of the house needs to be done because right now it's like a wood and it's just not holding up anymore. Plus, I live on a private road, and so we have to pay for the maintenance of the road. And right now, that maintenance needs to happen with this road. We have a few potholes, and so the road needs to be repaved. It hasn't been paved fully since my parents actually bought this house. We've just kind of done spot checks. So if you know, that is not cheap. So those are the things that need to happen to the house, which may also end up hurting me when it comes to selling. I don't know yet. But with all these expensive items, it just doesn't make financial sense for me to be here. I can live in a house that's half this size, and still a very good school district, and the taxes would be lower. I think all of New York, at some point, the taxes just get to a very high point, but we would definitely start off lower than we are. So anyway, that's the introduction and the reasons why I'm selling, and kind of I caught you guys up to date as to where I am in the process. So that was episode 1. Come back for episode 2, where I will be talking about actually listing my house and the steps that I went through with listing with a realtor versus listing with the person in the community, and some of those differences that I've encountered already. All right, take care.